The rain fell so hard it sounded like stones striking the roof. Thunder shook the small house, and the shadows on the walls stretched and twisted with every flash of lightning. Inside, 8-year-old Samuel held his 5-year-old brother Darren, close as their parents argued in the next room. Their voices rose like fire, fierce and unstoppable. The boys didn't understand the words, but they understood the fear. Their parents had been breaking apart slowly for years. Each fight lasted longer than the last, and each apology felt more fragile. Samuel had learned to take Darren outside during arguments, to sit with him under the mango tree, to distract him with stories, with laughter, with anything. But that night, there was no escape. Their mother was crying hard. Their father was shouting. Something inside the house had snapped for good. By sunrise, the decision had been made. One that would change the brothers' lives forever. Their father packed his bags and called his brother, Uncle Joran, to drive him away from the village. Their mother refused to leave. She insisted Samuel stay with her. Their father insisted that he take one boy with him to give him a better life. The boys didn't get to speak. They didn't get to choose. Darren was taken. Samuel's cries followed the truck down the muddy road, barefoot and breathless, but the truck moved too fast. Darren stood in the back, clutching the small wooden boat Samuel had carved for him months before. Rain mixed with his tears. He wanted to jump out, wanted to run back, but fear locked him still. He watched Samuel disappear behind the curtain of rain, then lowered his head so no one would see him crying. Samuel fell in the mud, exhausted. The truck turned the corner and vanished. That was the moment the world split in two. In the years that followed, Samuel lived a quiet, hard-working life in the village. His mother grew weaker, sadder, and more distant, as though losing Darren had hollowed out her spirit. Samuel fished early in the mornings, worked odd jobs in the afternoons, and carved tiny wooden boats at night while staring at the empty bed where Darren once slept. Every year on Darren's birthday, he placed one of the wooden boats into the river and watched it drift away, imagining it might somehow reach his brother wherever he was. Meanwhile, in the city, Darren lived a very different life. Their father remarried and raised a new family. Darren felt like a visitor in his own home, always watching, rarely speaking. He kept the wooden boat Samuel carved under his pillow until he was too old to explain it to anyone. Even when he grew tall and strong, he still dreamed of the village, of Samuel's hand holding his, of the ways Samuel always protected him. Both boys grew into men, still carrying the ghosts of their childhood. When Samuel turned 20, his mother fell ill. Her last words were soft, whispered through fading breaths. "If you ever get the chance, find your brother." Samuel buried her under the mango tree and promised her he would try. He saved money for months, lived on almost nothing, then finally traveled to the city. It was overwhelming. Noise, crowds, lights, thousands of faces. He searched tirelessly. He wandered markets, bus stations, corners where children played, neighborhoods where he thought Darren might be. Sleep became something he stole in short moments beneath bridges or on benches. Every day, he told himself he was close. Every day, he wondered if Darren even remembered him. He never found him. After months of searching, broke and exhausted, Samuel returned to the village carrying the weight of failure on his shoulders. Years later, when Darren turned 18, he gathered the courage to ask his father about Samuel. His father dismissed him coldly, saying that Samuel had moved on and that the past should stay in the past. But the words only strengthened Darren's resolve. He took his savings and traveled back to the village he barely remembered. When he arrived, he found the house empty, the mango tree towering quietly over the yard. A neighbor recognized him and told him that Samuel had left the village earlier that year searching for him. Darren sank to his knees in the dirt. He realized they had both been searching for each other, but at different times, like two shadows chasing a sun that kept slipping away. More years passed. Samuel became a carpenter, crafting boats strong enough to cross oceans, though he himself never traveled further than the nearest town. Darren became a skilled mechanic, fixing machines with quiet focus and steady hands. But even as they built their adult lives, there was always a missing piece within them, a space shaped like a brother they once loved. Sometimes Samuel stood by the riverbank at night, placing freshly carved boats into the water. "If you're out there, I'm still your brother," he whispered. Sometimes Darren climbed onto his apartment roof, staring at the same moon Samuel stared at, whispering, "Samuel, I hope you're okay." They grew older. They built lives. They worked hard, but they always carried the ache of a reunion that never came. At one point, Samuel even wrote a letter addressed simply to "My brother Darren," somewhere in the world, pouring everything he felt into the words. He never received a reply. The letter never found its way. That same year, Darren wrote his own letter to Samuel. That one never reached the village either. Two letters carried by the wind of a too large world, both lost before they reached their destination. When Samuel was 40, he returned once more to the old riverbank. His hair had begun to gray at the edges. His hands were calloused from years of carving. He set one final wooden boat on the water, watching it drift slowly away. He whispered, "Wherever you are, little brother, I hope you build a good life." In the city, Darren sat in a small apartment, holding the tiny wooden boat Samuel had carved when they were children. Its edges were worn from decades of being held. He traced the softened corners with his thumb and whispered, "Samuel, I hope you're safe." Two men living in different worlds, tied together by a childhood memory of a single wooden boat drifting on a river. They grew old without ever finding each other again. Not because they didn't try, not because they didn't care, but because life sometimes pulls people apart in ways that love alone can't fix. When Samuel passed away, villagers found dozens of small wooden boats stored in his room, one for every year he thought of Darren. When Darren passed away later, neighbors found a single wooden boat beneath his pillow, placed carefully where he kept it his entire life. Two brothers, two lives, two boats drifting through time. One story of love that never found its way home.